Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Wings of Redemption, okay? This is kind of like a classic figure in the YouTube scene, right? If you know your YouTube history, or you used to watch like Call of Duty commentaries back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I don't mean like 2015, 2016, right? I'm talking about 2009, 2010, way back in the day, right? Like over a decade ago type of did you watch commentary back in the day, right? Wings of Redemption has been a pretty big figure in the entire internet scene, right, over the last few years especially. You may have seen like the Frederick Knudsen documentary video on him, the Down the Rabbit Hole video, but Wings of Redemption is a pretty controversial figure, right? The vast majority of people who talk about this guy are actually criticizing him or making fun of him or downright trolling him to the point that even his personal life is not a safe haven from what people do to him on the internet. Things have happened to Wings of Redemption that you could just kind of list off, and it's just pretty much probably on there, right? It's like just throwing darts blind, but you're just hitting bullseyes. I mean, the guy's been doxxed, he's been swatted, he's had DoorDash orders sent to his house while he's live on stream, he's been goaded into multiple mental breakdowns, he's been clipped out of context, he's been caught saying the N-word and saying all kinds of crazy shit. There's meltdown videos, compilations, and entire YouTube channels on YouTube dedicated to basically highlighting his failures. He's basically become like a signature meme, I guess, online, right? And the vast majority of the attention that he gets is basically just people making fun of him or viewing him negatively. But something pretty crazy has happened recently that I want to talk about, because I'm not sure I've ever seen a situation quite like this one in my time on YouTube, I guess. This is such a weird drama. This is such a weird situation because this is actually one of the first times that I can think of where like a childhood friend is involved, right? So to give you guys the gist of it before we start breaking everything down piece by piece here, Wings of Redemption essentially had one of his childhood friends from way back in the day join a Trolls Discord server. Yeah, by the way, people literally create entire Discord servers and YouTube channels to troll Jordy, or Wings of Redemption as you may know him. But anyway, this childhood friend joined up in one of the Discords, had about a 4-hour conversation with these guys about Wings of Redemption and their personal lives, how it was like growing up with them, and he spilled a bunch of details out that ended up floating around on the internet, and some of them are actually very serious allegations and very serious claims. And it's completely devolved to this point where not only has Wings of Redemption actually got this guy on stream to basically like rebuke what he says, but also like somehow almost emasculates him. I don't know if that's the right word here. It's a weird situation. I've never seen something like this where, you know, somebody famous online is getting called out for these things by someone in their personal life, and then it turns into basically interviewing them on your live stream or whatnot. But it's just a weird situation, right? So I'm going to go ahead and play some of the clips from this entire thing and just let you guys kind of see some of the context here, and we'll start talking about the situation a little bit more when we come back from that.
Yeah, I live right down the street from him. But we ended up being friends, me and Kenneth, more than me and Jordy, because Jordy's kind of a fucking bully.
Right. So this first thing should be the sister stuff,
yeah,
right?
No, it was talking about you being a bully. I wanted to clarify on that. More like we went and hung out together. Most of the time we were playing video games. Kind of
How old were we?
Very young.
5,
talking
6?
Like 6 to 10 or 11, I think.
When he was 11, it was probably younger than that.
Probably younger. And
yeah, but when you use the term bully, they take it in a broad context.
The rumors about because there was rumors going around through the family about possible sexual assault on his sister.
What, say it again, Wings?
Don't feel the shame if you got a jerky shit to your sister.
He had either said, I believe that he said something extremely inappropriate. And when he was called on it when she confronted him about what he had said, he said that he didn't care what he said, right, because...
Now, this was a completely different person I was talking about in the conversation.
What he said wasn't a fucking lie, and it was some fucking straight up inappropriate shit to be saying about your 13-year-old sister. His sister reached out to me, and she was very young, and I was like, no thank you, and I stopped fucking going around, you know what I'm saying?
I mentioned it right there.
So
that was when they asked me about it.
Around that time is whenever all of that shit happened. It was right before that Jordy got booted to his grandmother's house over whatever the fuck happened. there. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so there's honestly a lot to unpack, and this, by the way, is not even close to the full clip. In fact, the video that I sourced all of this from is actually, as I'm looking at it right now, about 22 minutes long, and we've only really shown a couple minutes of the entire thing, right? And that's really not everything. And the reason that is obviously because if it was, we'd be doing a 2-hour-long video sitting here talking about this subject, and well, I don't think any of us really have the time for that. So to kind of unpack everything, you know, there's a lot of petty allegations, a lot of petty rumors and stuff that are spread throughout this thing, and I don't think those are the important ones, right? Because those are the things where, you know, people say shit, right? People make things up. But there's some pretty damning allegations that are made in this entire thing. One of the more important ones that comes right to my mind immediately is when this guy was clipped basically saying that Wings of Redemption, when they were younger, was actually kind of viewed as somewhat of a predator and apparently had made some very disgusting, offensive, and borderline criminal remarks and actions perhaps towards his sister, which may or may not have led to him basically being rehomed with his grandparents. Now, honestly, one of the craziest twists of this entire thing, and you may have noticed it honestly in a couple of these clips, is the guy on the left here, who is the childhood friend of Jordy here, or Wings of Redemption. I believe the guy's name is Aaron. This guy starts kind of walking back pretty much everything that he says, which was immediately viewed as suspicious by pretty much everybody in this entire situation, right? These trolls that this guy had a 4-hour-long conversation with that they recorded, apparently without Aaron's consent here, which doesn't matter because South Carolina, where he lives, is a one-party consent state, meaning that they had the right to record that. He basically starts walking everything back, which confuses the trolls who had the conversation with him and have the clips and everything of what he said. He basically says a lot of what was said was taken out of context and everything, and that these guys were basically trying to use him for content in a way. Now, there's been a lot of speculation on why this was, because obviously when somebody has all of these different comments made and they say all these different things and there's allegations like this just getting thrown around basically, there's a pretty good chance, right, that people are going to take that seriously. And of course, well, word kind of got back around to Jordy, and apparently the internet trolls and whatnot of Wings of Redemption were somehow getting involved by like spam calling his family and things like that, which has upset a lot of people in his personal life. But with everything that goes on here, it's just weird to see it all get walked back like this. Now, there's a couple different of hypotheses on this entire situation. The one that I've seen probably the most is that people seem to think that Jordy or Wings of Redemption threatened this guy in some way, most likely with like some sort of legal lawsuit action. Apparently, Wings of Redemption kind of has a history of whenever he's in like a squabble with somebody and, you know, he thinks that it's serious enough, he'll just blatantly like threaten to sue you. Now, I don't know anything about this personally. I haven't seen this. I mean, to be real with you, I've been following the Wings of Redemption situation for years now. I've watched a lot of these troll channels. I've seen a lot of their videos. I've seen a lot of the tactics that these people have used to troll him, but I haven't seen anything about that, so I don't know. I'm not discrediting it and saying that it's not true. I'm just saying I personally have not seen that. But it would make sense, because this guy is pretty much walking everything back, right? Which is weird, because if you have like a 4-hour conversation about somebody or something, you would think that at least like once in that entire thing you would say something that you kind of stand by, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be like, oh, I'm basically taking everything I said back, oh, they clipped me out of context, oh, this is what I really meant, oh, this, that, and the other, right? So it is a pretty plausible explanation on why basically this guy walked everything back. I mean, if you're being threatened to be sued, especially when it's somebody who has influence like Wings of Redemption has, even if most of us online see it as like, oh yeah, this guy's basically just troll bait and he gets fucking bullied by the internet for a living, a quote-unquote regular person like this guy who probably works some sort of like regular 9-to-5 or something would have really no concept of that, right? As far as he sees it, this guy's just famous on the internet and he must have a lot of money even if he still lives like with his grandma or whatever the situation is. So that would make sense on why he would basically recant his entire statement or start modifying it so heavily after everything really started to break down. Another possible theory that I've thought is that maybe this guy just felt it too awkward, I guess, to really stand behind what he said. Maybe this guy's a little bit of a pushover, and even though there are just like direct clips of what he said and it's kind of hard to take some of it out of context, maybe this guy is just afraid of confrontation and the idea of having to sit there with Jordy and go through this on this live stream to however many people, and then of course the countless tens if not hundreds of thousands of people watching the re-uploads on YouTube. Maybe that was all too much for him and he just kind of, I guess, agreed or recanted a lot of his statement in order to just get out of it. Regardless of the situation, I don't really know what happened here, right? But it is definitely pretty odd with this entire thing. Now, one thing I do want to bring up is that this isn't really the first time that like serious allegations have been made about Wings of Redemption. In fact, over the last few months, from what I know from watching the troll channels and whatnot's content, there's been like this niche movement within the Wings of Redemption's online troll sphere, as I like to call it, where very specific people are basically putting out like propaganda about him on TikTok. I don't really know another better way to say it. Essentially, people who are trying to troll him are like creating TikTok accounts and stuff where they pretend to be Wings of Redemption and they like confess that they love kids and stuff like that to basically make him look like this complete fucking weirdo, which does eerily line up with the apparent, I guess, gestures or comments that he made toward his sister that allegedly got him rehomed to his grandma's and whatnot when he was a kid. But as far as I know, all of these TikToks are fake, and they have fake scenarios with fake information that's meant to basically ruin the reputation of Wings of Redemption. I don't know if these are, like, I guess, coordinated in any way, if maybe the same people are behind them, or if, you know, it just, I guess, is different people doing it at this point. But from my knowledge, those TikToks are fake, and they don't contain any sort of real evidence that he's done anything wrong. If I'm mistaken about that, I'm willing to go ahead and admit that. But from what I've seen in the entire thing, there hasn't really been any evidence that he did anything wrong. And that's the thing about this entire situation with this family friend. Everything that's basically being said, it's so hard to prove, right? And a lot of it isn't even really worth proving. Like, does the internet really care if Wings of Redemption was a bully when he was like 6 years old? I don't really know. Maybe the people who want to troll him do, because they can use that as another free olive branch to extend out to troll this motherfucker and get him worked up in his Twitch chat so he cries again. But at the end of the day, I don't really know about all of this, right? So the evidence isn't really there. Like, a lot of the evidence is just basically outright, this guy who used to know Jordy all these years ago said that it happened, therefore it kind of happened. That's like what people are kind of leaning on now, I feel like. But I mean, if proof did come out about this entire thing, I feel like that would completely change the entire story, right? Because it instantly goes from, yeah, this guy's getting trolled online, you know, this isn't real or whatever, to, okay, now this is kind of real, look at what he's doing, maybe somebody should get involved kind of thing. But as it stands right now, I don't really know, man. Like, it's just such a weird situation. I mean, to a certain extent, like, Wings is almost unique in his ability to have such a fucked up situation constantly going on. And as I'm recording this video, I actually found out another piece of information that just kind of is used in a way to dogpile, I guess, onto Wings even more than what's going on right now. But it appears that Wings of Redemption's official Twitter account was just actually suspended. I don't know if it has anything to do with everything that's going on right now, if maybe one of the trolls or multiple trolls like spam reported him or something. I don't really know the answer to that one yet. No one really seems to know, but that is kind of what's happening right now in this entire situation. So at this point, who really knows where this is going to go? As we understand right now, Wings of Redemption's family doesn't really want to speak up on the issue because, well, they're getting trolled and harassed by people on the internet. This guy's backing down from pretty much his entire statement, saying it was all spun out of context and whatnot. And one of the things about it that kind of confuses me is, why is this guy even involved in the first place? Like, what was the motive? What was the reason? What was going on to why he even came forward with all of this in the first place, right? He claims that the trolls basically offered him money and whatnot in order to go to Jordy's house with a video camera and expose him in some way for something, right? I don't know if Jordy got doxxed and people that he used to be affiliated with or something were also involved in that, and that's how people contacted him or what, but that's the claim that he makes basically. But what I don't get though is, why would that translate to you then going and talking to a bunch of trolls in Discord for a couple hours, right? Like, what incentive did this guy really have to basically just come forward and tell all this stuff, right? Like, at the beginning of this clip, he goes from like, oh, he was like a childhood bully and he was kind of mean when we played video games together on split screen, to he allegedly was removed from his family home and basically rehomed with his grandparents because he was a creep to his sister, right? That's a pretty crazy and massive allegation to make, you know? That's not something you can just play around with. So I don't know, I guess we'll see how this whole thing works. I still don't know why this guy would have talked or like what his motive in this whole thing was, but that's kind of what we know right now. If there's any other major like shocking updates to this whole situation, I'll bring another video out on it. But that'll basically be it for this video though, you guys. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Facebook. Over on Facebook, I produce exclusive daily content just like the video you're watching right now. Also, make sure to check out Shop Opti down below, as I will be releasing new merchandise here soon. So with that being said though, this is Optimus, well, talking about Wings of Redemption and signing out.